Welcome to the Zeducation Podcast, where it's all about helping people and organizations unleash their greatness. The Zeducation Podcast features lively discussions.
When they share it, you see that they're beginning to feel empowered.
My heart, it's full of pride for me to be at Mai Samoa.
You don't necessarily need a degree these days. There's so many pathways to success.
Welcome to the Zeducation Podcast. Welcome to the Zeducation Podcast episode today, where it's about helping you unleash your greatness. We want you to win both professionally and personally. Today, we're focusing on how fitness can help you boost your confidence in every aspect of life, even in work. So if you ever struggled with self-confidence, self-esteem, you want to listen to this episode. We're excited to have Jess Carter, who is the founder of OTB Health Club, join us. Jess is a fitness expert dedicated to helping women, especially mums, rediscover their strength and confidence. We're going to talk about some tips and strategies to help integrate fitness into your busy routine, because we all know we have it, and to help you overcome some of those confidence hurdles or barriers. So don't miss out the chance to learn from a woman, an expert herself, who's actually transformed many lives and help you boost your confidence through fitness. So welcome to the show, Jess. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege to be invited. I'm usually on the other side where I host, so this is like way outside my comfort zone.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're like me, eh? It's a bit different, when you're the host versus the guest. So normally you just ask the questions and then let the guest do all the talking. That's the easy part.
100%.
Yeah. But hey, look, it's good to have you on the other side because you have so much to offer. And this is why I've invited you onto the show and the great work that you're doing with OTB Health Club. So let's start there. Tell us a little bit about your club for those who might not know what it is and what you do.
Yeah, cool. So we are in South Auckland, so we're based in Takanini. We are a female-focused club, so everything we do is focused around females, from nutrition, our challenges, our training. Men are absolutely welcome. We're just trying to create like a safe space for females to be in, because most gym environments are targeted towards men, people that are very confident in their journey. So for us, we really look at the mum as well. We actually sat down right at the beginning when we moved into our building and talked about like who would be our target market or our avatar. And we came down to, it's basically the female nurturer. So those women that are out there, whether they have kids or not, but they just give to everything that they do. They might be a teacher or a nurse, and they're just nurturing all the time, giving to their career, giving to their kids, giving to everyone else. What we wanted to create was a space where they come in and they are completely nurtured. And so that's what we do at OTB. We're pretty hearty, like we're very hearty with our training, very high standards. I like to hold high standards for the ladies, just because for me, it's a vote of confidence that I have in them. And so if I'm holding a high standard of them, they'll start to believe that like they are worthy of that too. Sometimes it's really hard to set your own standard to begin with, because you get a little bit worried, like, have I sort of overshot the mark, or, is that really the standard for me? So I like to just put that standard on them and then help them sort of meet those goals.
I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what are some of the struggles and challenges that women, especially moms, go through that, going into fitness and going into the gym, especially after having a baby, and it's changed your body, your life has changed, it can be quite hard, So I guess what are some of the things that they have to go through or overcome in order to get into that space?
A lot of the time it's time. So finding the time to actually do it. I think sometimes it's really easy to go on social media and we see everybody's highlights. It's like, if you went on my social media page, sometimes I scroll through my own page and I'm like, girl, like it's all my own highlights. I get inspired by myself being like, really? But then I know the other side of my life. But we do that. We go through other people's pages and we see the highlights, and, we see the people that do what I eat in a day, and their plan looks beautiful. And we think that if we can't do that, then like that's the only way. So sometimes it's the struggles that they have is time, living up to an unrealistic mark, thinking that oh, if I'm going to go and train, it has to look like this, or my results have to be this. And then the other one as well that I've noticed a lot of the struggles is once they get into the gym, they start building that confidence, they do become a new version of themselves. So they still are themselves, but it's that new version of themselves. And then they start to struggle with putting themselves first and being okay with the fact that, like, I'm going to put this hour away for myself, which now I'm racked with guilt because I should be at home with my kids. I should be preparing dinner. I should be doing all these other things. And they're taking this hour, maybe even 2 hours if they're so bold, to pour into themselves. And then it's sort of that struggle there of that guilt. So sort of time, unrealistic expectations, and just guilt. Like, we're racked with mum guilt from the day we find out we're pregnant until, I don't know, probably forever.
Yeah, I can imagine that there's so much that goes on, especially the whole social media thing. And, that can be really challenging on someone's confidence, even before you even touch the gym, right? You're scrolling through, you're comparing yourself to other people and what you see. A lot of the self-doubt, a lot of those things can challenge your self-confidence, right? Especially for a mum, like I said before, her body goes through a lot of changes, especially giving birth and that, you're like men don't really have to go through things like that. So I can understand why your focus and your niche are women, right?
Yeah. Social media is so powerful in a positive and a negative way. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I'm terrible on my own personal social media. I made a goal for myself. Actually, I've made a goal for myself about 1 million times that I'm going to post every day. But it's too much of an overcommitment for me because we post every day on our business page, OTB page, because I want that out there and I want to share that, everyone is an athlete. That's something that I really believe, that everyone is an athlete. Everyone should be treated like an athlete, regardless of age, size, fitness abilities. Because there are things that athletes do that there's mindsets that they have that we should be putting onto ourselves too, with sacrifice, discipline, just that thought pattern that an athlete has. So that's something that I really believe. But social media can really eat away at things because, and I know that it does it to me too. I can use social media for such a powerful reason to find inspiration in other areas. But I also can find it when I'm feeling low and I'm feeling negative, it will reinforce those terrible feelings for myself. And I can use social media for good or for bad. I've actually gone through myself, and I actually do it quite often. I go through my social media following and I cull out, not in a way of like, I'm not following you anymore, but more like, if I don't feel like this is adding to me, to who I want to be, I actually just remove it. So there's actually been certain fitness accounts that I've unfollowed. I started following them for the reason of, oh gosh, her body is beautiful. I want to look like her. I want to be an athlete like her. And then it got to a point where actually now I'm just following it to be like, oh, she's amazing and I'm not. And that's not right for my own mindset. There's nothing wrong with that. I unfollow, and then I just try and keep my social media filling me up with the things that I want to see, as opposed to the things that I might end up comparing myself to. So I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I think that it has to be very controlled, and we have to make sure that we are in control of our social media, what we post, and also what we allow to be on our what is it called, For You page. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Because the algorithm is based on what you like, what you view, right? And I like that. Like, if it's not adding any value to you, unfollow. Even if it's a friend, and I'll be honest, I'm the same. If I keep seeing stuff from your news feed and it's not really adding any value, I'll unfollow you. And it's nothing personal. It's just that I'm choosing what I learn from, or what I get to spend my time on, and what I want to be influenced by. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? So I think that's some good advice, especially for our listeners out there, in terms of what you're scrolling on social media. Maybe be a little bit more intentional. Like what kind of content do you want to consume? What do you want to learn? What do you want to spend your time with? So follow those accounts and unfollow the ones that don't add value. Tell us about time, because you talked about that's one of the hurdles and challenges that especially women have to deal with, the time. So what are some advice around that, finding the time for fitness?
So if you're absolutely very beginner stage, carve away. It doesn't, there is no set amount of time that is perfect. There is no golden rule. There's no set time that's perfect. There's maybe too much time, there's not enough time, there's all those things in between. But it's setting aside a moment of time where you're like, for the next week, I can actually give this 30 minutes to myself and choose something that you enjoy to do and that you know you can commit to for an entire week. So if you know, look, I don't have a gym membership, so I'm not going to go to the gym, then it's a walk for 30 minutes and you do that every single day for a week until you get into that habit. Because what ends up happening is, so for example, our ladies here at the gym, we always start, so we're class-based and every class is an hour. And we always start going, I'm going to do a class every day. I'm going to do 5 classes a week. And I just tell everyone, like, slow right down. Let's go for 2 to 3 classes and let's maintain that over the space of 2, maybe 4 weeks. So set up that habit where you're doing 2 or 3 classes. If you're absolutely a beginner and you're like, I want to make a change right now today, like I'm listening to this podcast, it's whatever time it is in the morning, this is really awesome. This afternoon, I'm going to set my time apart. Maybe you finish work at 5 o'clock and you think to yourself, right from the office, I'm going to do a nice loop around the office for 30 minutes. Then I'm going to get into my car and I'm going to go home, have my shower, do my dinner, everything like that. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular just to start. Like, you just need to start. So it might be 30 minutes of a walk. It might be during your lunch break. You go out and you get a quick walk in for 30 minutes. It could be every single night you've decided that you're going to put on a YouTube workout at home and you're going to do some burpees, some sit-ups, some squats, things like that. You're going to spend 30 minutes to start with, maybe 20 minutes to start with, whatever it looks like. The first thing that you want to be doing is carve out a time, make it a habit, and become consistent with that. From that, what happens is we realize it sucks in the moment, but the things that come out of it afterwards are so important and so valuable that we actually just want to add on to that. So it's like, I've got a lady here at the gym. She's amazing. So she started one of our challenges and she decided, I really want to get into walking on the treadmill. I'm going to hire a treadmill to have at home. So she's hired a treadmill to have at home and she does her walks every single morning. And she just said, like, even on mornings when she wakes up thinking like, oh, do I have to do this? She's like, I know the rest of my day won't feel the same if I miss that treadmill walk, because it's a part of her routine now. So it's the same as, when you walk out of the house and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I brushed my teeth. It stresses you out because you're like, you don't feel right. It becomes a habit. We get into the car and we put our seatbelt on. So that's what we're trying to do with it, is make it a habit, but scale it right down first. Don't overwhelm yourself. 30 minutes, a good walk, get that in. It might be 30 minutes of a YouTube workout. Find someone that you love. It doesn't have to be jumping. It doesn't have to be running. It can be stretching and yoga to get your body moving. And you realize, like, wow, I love this. I'd love to add a bit of muscle. I'd like to get a bit stronger. But my first thing around time is, what time do you actually have available? And be realistic. If you know that this is important to you and you've carved out time for 2 hours before bed that you sit and watch TV or you sit and scroll, take 30 minutes of that and give it to your health. And then the other hour and a half, you can sit there and watch TV and scroll. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. But if you've got that time apart where you are scrolling or you are watching TV, go for a walk. Chuck a podcast on. I mean, you can walk the road and watch your favorite TV program on your phone. That you can scroll while you're walking. I'm not asking you to be absolutely dedicated, like nothing else. I'm going to go for a run. Scroll your phone while you walk for 30 minutes. That's like, and get that habit, get that time in, but be very realistic with the time that you do have. If you know you've got an hour, give yourself an hour. Like, this is basically like a vote to who you're going to be in 10 years. That's what I view it for myself. Everything that I do now, I'm just thinking of me in 10 years. And like every single day, that me in 10 years moves, the marker moves. So I'm constantly chasing this person in 10 years. She's going to be so proud of me in 10 years. I'm going to impress her in 10 years. Who do I want to be in 10 years? I want to be fit. I want to be mentally strong. I want to be kind. I want to be of service to people in my community. So that's who I want to be. So what have I done today as a vote towards that person in 10 years?
Nice.
And if I haven't done anything, then I need to start racking up a few things. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. I love putting that thing into perspective, and I love the practical tips and just starting small. Doesn't have to be anything major. You just start at home, even watching a YouTube video, how-to videos for yoga or anything like that. Start small and then just build from there. I love that. Talk to us about motivation. There are those days where some people just wake up, they don't feel like getting out of bed, just don't feel motivated.
Yeah.
What's your advice around that? Because, like, yes, we've got the tips, you got the gym, you've got the YouTube, but it's like having the desire to do it.
Yeah. So I talk to the girls about it a lot. Is that like there is no motivation. It's not motivation, it's just a good day. So you're gonna have good days and you're gonna have bad days. No one's motivated on a bad day. They're disciplined on a bad day. So are you having a good day or a bad day? Okay, cool. Today's a bad day. Well, I get up and do what I do anyway. It's becoming, and like, trust me, and I'm so honest with the girls all the time, like these last few days for me have been, every single time that I've had to train, I've had to actually tell myself, this is what you do. This is who you are. So it's that flick in your mind when you become someone that's investing in your health. So I tell the girls all the time, like, you're an athlete now. So like, you've come through these doors. In my eyes, you are an athlete now, and this is what you do. So you're not training to be skinny, you're training to be an athlete. And athletes come in all shapes and sizes, and they have all abilities. And every athlete has this mindset of, regardless of the day or the weather or the whatever, this is what I do. So you are becoming an athlete for your life. That is what you are doing. And this is what an athlete does. An athlete gets up and they get their training done. An athlete stays on their meal plan. An athlete has failures and they bounce back quickly. So one of my biggest things for the girls as well is, like, on those days where you're not motivated, AKA a bad day, you probably will fail that day. And we just have a mantra that is basically like, never twice in a row. So, my breakfast was not what I was meant to be having, but never twice in a row, which means my next meal is going to be good. You know, okay, cool. I was meant to do my class this morning, but I didn't. Great. Never twice in a row. Tomorrow morning, I will be at my class. So I've missed Monday, but I will not miss Tuesday. So it's just those things, like, you are going to have bad days and you are going to fail and things aren't going to run perfectly. And you should expect that and you should plan for that. So there is going to be a morning where you wake up and everything the night before has been terrible and you've had a terrible sleep and your baby has woken up and they are unhappy and now you have the mum guilt that you need to stay home. And so, okay, cool. It is a bad day. I'm staying home with my child, but what can I do in between? I'm going to get 10 burpees in. Over the course of today, when I'm home with my child while my child is sick, I will, by the end of today, have completed 100 burpees. Nobody loves burpees. So I'm going to do 10 in the morning, baby's gone down for a sleep, I'm going to do another 5 now, and just set up a little tally chart. By the end of the day, you've done 100 burpees, and that's amazing. So it's just those things of, like, it's the mindset around it that I'm an athlete, this is what an athlete does. Athletes still train when they're injured. You know, we've seen it. They've all been taken off the field, they're injured, and then we see them the next week at training, like, what are they doing? Oh, they're on the bike. How interesting. They haven't just given up because they've, hurt themselves. So it's that situation around motivation. It's just a good day. Like, I love that. I'm excited today to do everything on my meal plan, to do all my training, to do my cardio, because it's a good day, because things have lined up well. And then tomorrow I might wake up and I don't wake up going, I've got no motivation. I go, well, today's a bad day. Well, that discipline kicks in because I'm an athlete and this is what I do. And that's what I've been going through the last few days. I was telling the girls about it on, I think yesterday I did a live chatting to the girls about it and just saying to them, like, I had a terrible day the day before where everything was just like Jess, you must do this. Jess, you do your cardio daily, go and do it. Jess, you must turn up to your class. And then the next day I woke up and I was like, everything's great. This is amazing. I can't wait to do cardio, and everything felt awesome. So had I given up the day before, I would have just got myself into that pit. I would have gone over it. Oh my gosh, I'm useless. Why can't I just get my cardio done? Look, she's doing her cardio. She's probably had a hard day. That's the issue with trying to rely on motivation. So I just break it down. There's good days, there's bad days, but every single day is disciplined. When I fall off, not if I fall off, when I fall off, when I make a mistake, when I fail, I just get back on ASAP. I do not let myself dwell on it. If I do start dwelling on it, I just quickly go, hang on a second. That's not actually a thought that's going to help me in any way. Why am I beating myself up about the fact that I had a donut when I know I shouldn't have, because I'm trying to do whatever meal plan? Okay, cool. You've done it. It's done. Now let's move forward. It is what it is. You can't undo it. Don't go and do extra cardio to work it off. Don't do those things where, oh, I've done this, I'm going to punish myself. It is what it is. It happened. What am I going to do next time to make sure it doesn't happen? How do I move forward from this? As opposed to, like, pulling yourself all the way down. Yeah, that's why I get a little bit with the girls. I'm like, don't worry about motivation. Motivation is what it is. Motivation is a good day. Every single day is discipline, good, bad, ugly. There's certain things that we do every day. I think it's the hard thing is sometimes we overcommit to what we do every day. I'm going to do cardio every day and it's going to be a 10-kilometer run. I'm going to do a class every day and I'm going to PB all my lifts. I'm going to do a stretch out every night and it's going to take 45 minutes. And then what happens is that's so unrealistic. Like we look at it and we're like, okay, on a good day, I got those things done, but on a bad day, I didn't. And now we go, oh gosh, I'm useless and I'm this and I'm that. And, the toxic spiral of internal monologue starts and it's very hard to get yourself out.
Yeah, I like that. There's a lot of good stuff that you talked about there. And I love that perspective around motivation. It's not motivation. It's just a bad day. It's a bad day or a good day. What I like about that is it removes it from being just about you and thinking about you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's not about me. It's just the day. So it separates that feeling of you and it's about the day. And it makes it feel like, I can change the day because it's just the beginning of the day or whatever it is kind of thing.
And it also gives you an opportunity to be able to like reflect, like, why is this a bad day? Yeah. Oh, I know why it's a bad day because of whatever. And then you can kind of be like, well, I'm in control of that actually. Yeah. So I can make a twist of that.
And that's why I love that rule that you have, just don't allow it to happen twice or something along those lines. Because why I like that rule is because, we're going to make mistakes. Just don't let it happen again. And that's all about the growth and the learning. So I love that rule. Yeah. And also...
Never twice in a row. That's what I always tell myself, like, whoops, never twice in a row.
Never twice in a row. I love that. And I also like the expectation around, look, we all come in, we're an athlete, right? There's different types of athletes. It's not about being skinny, this or the aiming for the perfect body. There's different types of bodies, right? So I like how you make things realistic. What are some misconceptions that people have when it comes to like fitness and training? What are some misunderstandings and misconceptions?
The biggest one that comes to my head that I'm trying to like beat out of myself and out of all the girls is that abs mean you're fit. Abs don't mean you're fit. Like that's what we always see it everywhere, like, oh, she's got abs, she must be fit. He's got abs, he must be fit. That's the biggest one. And also like whenever I see things that say like a one size fits all type thing, if you do this exercise, it'll grow your glutes. If you eat this certain way, it'll do this for you. Every single thing you do is personalized. And especially when it comes to women, it's personalized through phases of your life. Like every woman has different phases. What worked for me before I had a child did not work for me while I was pregnant or after I had a child or now that I'm in my mid to late 30s. It won't work. What I'm doing now isn't going to work for me when I'm in my 50s. It's not going to work for me post-menopause. It all depends on where you are in life and then also your environment. So I was a school teacher for 12 years. So the routine that I had while I was a teacher with my training and nutrition does not work for me right now because I had very scheduled breakfast, lunch, morning tea times. I knew exactly when I could train, when work started, when it finished. Whereas now work starts at early crazy hours and I'm always available and dinner might be at 9 o'clock at night. And I had a conception that you shouldn't eat after 6 p.m. because I was like, oh no, 6 p.m. is terrible. But sometimes my dinner I have at 9 o'clock at night. And so it's that whole thing of what I was talking about before with social media is that it can be a blessing and a curse. We have access to so much. We also have access to people that they can be, I'm not deadline. There's nothing that I believe is deadline perfectly true when it comes to health and fitness, other than if you're trying, then you are succeeding. If you are trying to be healthier, you're succeeding. If you're trying to eat better, you're succeeding. If you're trying to turn up to the gym more, you are succeeding. It's just so easy now to be able to get into contact with people that say like keto is the way, or paleo is the way, or low carb is the way, or this is the way. And it's really difficult because then what happens is we try it for ourselves and we see that it works for these people because social media said it did. And then for some reason it's not working for me. So I'm the issue, not the meal plan or not the training style. Every person will find the best thing for them. Like I love lifting heavy weights because it makes me feel strong and that's what I want. And there are other girls here that love to run because it just makes them feel fast and agile. And that's really awesome. Like neither of those things are better or worse. I just love what I do and they love what they do. And I'll give what they do a go and be like, holy, wow, you're really awesome. Like it's difficult for me. But I think the biggest misconception with fitness is like that there is a one way. And the best thing at the moment that can break all of that is watching the Olympics. So like watch the Olympics and like look at, for me personally, I'm looking at the female athletes because I just think they're absolutely incredible. And every single athlete, right, they are the top of the world and every athlete looks different and they all train differently and they all eat differently, but they're all the top of the world for all these different things. So you've got girls that people would see on the street and go, oh, she's got the perfect body, she's so slender, she's so this, and she's the top of the world at what she's doing. And then you've got other girls that people would look at maybe, oh, she's big, she's fat, whatever they want to call her, but she's actually the top of the world at a sport. So it's like, how can you judge a body and tell everyone like this is what that body does? And that's what I love about the Olympics, because we get to see all the athletes on the world stage. So we can't go like this person's better than that person. They're all in these different areas. And it's like what's working for her works for her because of what she's doing. What's working for her works for her because of what she's doing, what they're aiming to achieve. And that's why sometimes when we get so fixated on this training style works because of whatever reason, it's really difficult because then we blame ourselves for being wrong as opposed to going, maybe I need to try something different. So for some girls, having a low carb diet does work, and for other girls, it doesn't. Like if I go low carb, I am a horrible human to be around, like horrific. You know, like Richie would be like, oh, my life, I can't be near her because I love carbs and carbs love me. Like, I'm not going to lie, carbs love me. My training is better when I have carbs. But for other girls, they eat carbs and they want to fall to sleep. So it's all different people.
I love that.
And that's the biggest misconception with fitness is that there is one or two ways. There isn't. There's a million. And it depends on the person. It depends on the day. It depends on the phase, the environment. Like your goal will change, which means what you're doing will change too. So that's just my biggest bugbear with the health and fitness industry is that that's been put out there.
Yeah, it's so true. There's a lot of information out there and it can get quite confusing for some people. And, you know, what works for that person might not necessarily work for me. What's your advice around, you know, if someone's thinking about getting advice and tips, but like a reliable source, what's your tips around that and starting?
So if we were going to use social, like if we're going to go through social media, I would consume their content with a very open lens, as like not just looking at the person and being like, oh, she looks awesome, I want to look like her, because you never ever will, because she owns that body and that's her body, and your body is your body that you own, so you will never look the same. So don't look at it as in like, I want to look at her. Listen to what they say. Listen to what they're putting across. If it aligns with your values, then maybe reach out to them and see I would say, like, if you are new, I would reach out to someone whose values align with yours. If their values don't align, like, for example, if someone was wanting to be an elite bodybuilder, I'm probably the wrong person to coach them, because my values don't align with that. And I'm not saying anything wrong with bodybuilders at all. It's just a completely different sport. I love to work with mums. I love to work with women that want to be able to hold themselves to a standard on the daily, but then also push it. So like at the moment, we've got a challenge going on, and we're 5 weeks out from the end of the challenge, and I'm pushing these girls to do things that I would never expect them to maintain in everyday life. And so this is the part of the challenge I actually personally find tough, because I'm pushing them to do things that in my head I'm like, this doesn't align with what I want you doing daily, but I want you to see what you're capable of. So I want you to take this next level. You are raising your kids and you must be at class every day. Whereas like on the daily, that would not be something that I would sit down with them and we'd, you know, put their program together. But these girls that are finishing the challenge off, you must be at class and you must do your cardio. So that's 2 hours of the day you must find for yourself. And I would never put that on people if they're wanting to do day to day, but we're doing a challenge. So I'm like, let's push it. Because if you were going to the Olympics as an athlete, that little lead up, you know, day to day, you do your habits, you do your training. That lead up to the Olympics, you're going to push yourself to another level. And so that's sort of what we're doing here with the girls. But for someone that's starting out, I would, if we're going to use social media, I would listen and consume their content thinking of values. do our values actually align with what you're saying? Are you someone that I would actually want to listen to and want to work with? And then I would reach out for help. If you like, there's a lot of people that you can reach out to and have, you might not want to sign up with their coaching package or sign up to their gym or whatever. But if you just message them and say, hey, look, I would really love to have, 30-minute phone call with you. I'm really looking to get into fitness, but I'm at the very beginning point where I actually am not able to spend money at the moment, but I would love it if I could just ask you 5 questions. I have 5 questions that I'd really love to ask you. Is there any way that I could do that? Honestly, most people in the fitness community are really, their heart is so just full to help people. Well, I know for me, and I know for most of the people that I interact with, because our values align, is that we just want people to get better. So if you're at the beginning of your journey and if you think our values align, I would love to ask you 5 questions. Can I set up a time to call? Could I send the questions through to you and you get back to me when you're free? I would do that. Reach out, see what they have, ask them about, if I'm looking into getting into bodybuilding or training or whatever, ask those questions, reach out to that person, and then take that information and try and apply it to your life. So like if they've said to you, look, I would start with cardio every day, try and apply that to your life. If you are at the point where you're like, actually, I think I want to get a coach, then again, listen to the values, listen to the beliefs of that person. Don't always just look at the physical package that comes with it. It's because that physical package, it works for them because of their lifestyle and their environment. Whereas if they don't have the same values as you and you're saying, look, family life's really important to me, and they're saying, well, the most important thing is that you stay on meal plan and you're getting in an hour and a half of cardio, that's a mismatch of values. So my biggest piece of advice for anyone that's trying to figure out what to do or where to get their information, listen to the content, thinking of values and beliefs, do they align? And then honestly, I would just have a little bit of courage, which is really hard, but worst thing that happens is that they see your message and don't reply. Like, that's the worst thing that can happen. And if that happens, you can just be like, okay, well, that's all good. And then you contact someone else or find someone else. Yeah.
I like that. I tend to be the person that also scrolls, and I follow a lot of people that inspire me, but I've never thought of the idea of reaching out or just DMing and like asking a few questions like, hey, what supplements do you take? Or can you recommend any tips around this for lifting or shoulder workouts? Like, that's pretty cool. I really like that. It's taking it to the next level.
100%.
So you're not just a scroller. You're learning.
Also, as well, with the person that's putting that content out, it's nice for them to get like that feedback. So if you see a video of theirs that you like message, even if you just message the video to them, be like, hey, I really liked this video. This is so cool. I was wondering, what supplements do you take? At the moment, I'm taking whatever. And then they might reply or they might not, but it's not that big of a deal. People that are putting out content, if you respond to their content, that's what they're wanting anyway. So if you see someone that is very active on social media and putting out content and putting out this, they want to hear from you. That's what they're doing. And if they don't want to hear from you, well, then that's cool. They can hear from their own self or whatever. But like for me personally, so it's like if someone jumped onto my Instagram page and was like, hey, I like this video. I'm not sure how to do shoulder press because I had an injury. What would you suggest for me? I would get back to them and I would say, well, actually, I'm like, if I had time, I might even make a video like, what's the injury you've got? If it's here, then I would do this instead, because most of the people that are putting out content, especially in New Zealand, because we don't have major stars in New Zealand. Like, we have a few people that are really awesome and everything like that. But like, there's so many people in New Zealand that are putting out fitness content, right? And like, it's really awesome, especially when they're small, to be able to be like, hey, look, I like your content, and start engaging with them that way. Because they'll remember you and you'll remember them too later on in your journey, which is awesome.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. If they don't DM you, I'll just unfollow them.
Just message back and be like, lost the follower. And then they'll be like, oh.
Yeah. No, but anyway, that's some great advice. Look, you've been so awesome, and you've shared so much here, and I'm sure a lot of our ladies who tune into this podcast will find a lot of value from that. So before we finish off, I want to finish off with a bang. What's your final tips or key takeaway from this podcast that you want our listeners to take with them?
Okay. So I do. I really appreciate that you actually sent this through to me so that I knew that this was coming up, because I took some time to think about it, and I actually wrote 3 things down.
Awesome.
Because I want to make sure that the ladies that hear this, or anyone, men as well, but the ladies that hear this actually really get these tips through their heads. So I wrote it down. I'm going to read it off the side here.
Perfect.
But this is about fitness and boosting your confidence, because the amount of confidence you can build through becoming fitter is, there's literally no limit to it. And you fall in love with yourself, which is the best love story that you'll ever be a part of. So if you can start that journey now, that would be the best. So the first one is just remembering that comparison is the thief of joy. So if you're looking to other people, you're looking to be inspired, but you need to realize that you will never be that person. It's amazing that they're in the world, and it's amazing that you're inspired by them, but you won't ever be them. And that is the biggest blessing, because the world needs you. So don't look to others going, I want to be her, I want her body. Look to them going, wow, you're so inspirational. And then work on yourself, because you need to work with your body to make your body the best. The next one is plan for failure. So when you fail, not if you fail, the big goal is that I'm ready to pivot. I'm ready to get back on ASAP. We're never ever going to get into that toxic spiral. And if we feel it beginning, we click out of it ASAP. And we always just use the rule of never more than once. And then the last one, and this is the biggest one that I've been harping on with about the girls lately, is that you need to be around people whose daily habits are your goals. So if you want to be in the fitness industry, if you want to be fitter, if you want to become a runner, get around runners. Get around people that do what you do, or that do daily what you want to do as your goal, and just see the changes that they make, look at what they do, how their mindset works. Get completely used to the fact that you need to be uncomfortable, because at every level that you go through, you have to push yourself into that zone of being uncomfortable. As soon as you get comfortable, that's your trigger to go, oh, it's time for me to level up. And when we level up, so in every new level brings a new work ethic. So comparison is the thief of joy. Plan to fail. And when you do fail, just remember it's never more than twice in a row. And then the last one is be around people whose daily habits are your goals. That's my top 3 tips for ladies.
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you for bringing the energy. Thank you for just bringing so much wisdom and being generous with your advice, especially for our listeners. We are grateful for your time. We are definitely better for it. And there you go, our listeners, Jess Carter, founder of OTB Health Club. And if people want to get a hold of you, how can they do that?
The best way is probably through the OTB Health Club. We've got Facebook and Instagram page, or if you find me on Facebook or Instagram, you're more than welcome to send me a message and I will reply to you, because I just want to see everyone getting in on their health journeys. That's what absolutely gives me a buzz.
I love it. And that's what it's all about. Thank you again, Jess Carter, for your time.
Thank you.